As we announced earlier, our senior coach Ken Hinkley has advised the club that he will step aside from the senior coaching role at season's end, with current assistant coach Josh Carr appointed as his successor in 2026. Look, Ken has had open communication with the club over the pre-season and confirmed that 2025 would be his last season as senior coach here at Port Adelaide. Most importantly, Ken is as enthusiastic and energised as ever and will be doing everything he can to deliver premiership success to our people in 2025. Ken has always prioritised the best interests of the club, and I can't emphasise that enough. He has always done that. And providing this certainty for our football program in advance allows us the best opportunity to transition well. He's recognised we have a senior coach in waiting already in our ranks, and I'm delighted to confirm on behalf of the Port Adelaide Football Club that Josh Carr will lead the club from 2026. Ken certainly believes we have the right man standing right here at Port Adelaide in 2025 to be the next senior coach for the club. So congratulations, Josh. As a club who has qualified in the top four for the past 5 seasons, we're also in a pretty fortunate position to be able to confirm this transition plan into the future whilst our program continues to be strong and a really strong position. Ken will continue to lead and coach our group this season as we continue to chase ultimate success, as we do every year, whilst Josh continues in his role in supporting Ken as an assistant in 2025 and preparing to take over in 2026. Look, when we reappointed Ken in 2023, our focus immediately went to the future. At that time, the board challenged Chief Executive Matthew Richardson, Chris Davies and the football department to ensure we had a viable internal candidate for the next senior coach role whenever that time was to be. Good organisations are always planning for the future, and we always are. As an organisation, when we identify great talent, we like to develop and promote it, whether it be our current Chief Executive, our current Head of High Performance, or indeed our next senior coach. It's the reason why we're the only AFL club with a full-time development coach just for coaches. We like developing internally. That's who we are. The discussion with Josh at the time was that we believed he had the right attributes to be a senior coach in the future and potentially a senior coach here at Port Adelaide. He's a Port Adelaide Premiership player. He gets who we are. He's a bloke with great values aligned with us. But it was always based on him continuing to develop. We and Ken have said publicly on numerous occasions that we believe Josh Carr had the potential to be a successful senior coach, and we hoped that would be here at Port Adelaide. We've made no secret of that. And across the last 18 months, we've seen Josh continue to develop, and his trajectory continues in the right direction to lead our club in his own right from 2026. And can I say, Ken has played a massive part in Josh's development toward being a senior coach and his ability to connect with the playing group. I've always said a senior coach, a head coach, has got to be a great leader of young men. Ken is certainly that, and Josh will be that as well. To be in a position to coach an AFL club for 13 years and to put in place his successor is an incredible testament to Ken's legacy that he leaves behind to this club. You know, people always say the true acknowledgement of a person's success is the quality of their successor. Thank you again, Ken, for always putting the club first. We're delighted to confirm this transition is now officially in place, with Josh formally signing and contracted as Port Adelaide senior coach from 2026 and beyond. All right, now you two can get back to work.
Thanks, David.
Just kidding.
Oh, that one's going to fall over.
Thanks, Ken.
Might be the new job, fixing the mics. Again, to start, thanks Thanks very much. I appreciate the words. As David said, I've enjoyed open dialogue with the club for some time now in regards to my final season in charge at Port Adelaide. Here at Port Adelaide, we'll always have an eye for the future, and as I've been saying for some time, Josh Carr will be an outstanding future senior coach of this football club. Congratulations, Josh. Probably hung around a little bit too long for you, but congratulations, Josh, on your appointment. I have no doubt you'll be a very successful coach here at Port Adelaide. Without question, I still have the fire and the burn and the desire to lead this club in 2025. I'm fresh, I'm recharged, I have the privilege of leading a very driven playing group and coaching group. Not for one moment do I take this role for granted. I will do everything in my power to deliver ultimate success to our club in 2025. But come the end of the season, it will be time to hand the baton on, and I do that knowing the club is in the best possible hands for a new era under Josh Carr. And I'm very, very happy to take your questions now.
Is this a sad day for you, given how much you love this club?
Not sad. Not sad. It's an exciting day for me. And it's an exciting day for us as a footy club and for Josh and for David and the board. It's such an exciting day to finally get to that point where you've given a lot, but what you know the most is we're ready. And that's what we are. We're ready at the end of 25 for this to happen.
Why now?
Why now? Because once it becomes clear and you want to make sure in this football industry, you have to be at your absolute best. There can't be any doubts going forward. There can't be anything in your mind that's distracting you from the job. For me, I know exactly what I have to do now. And I know exactly what's coming, and there's no surprises. And I've got a great second man behind me, backing me up all the way through this year, and as he has done for the last 3 years. So I just know it's right.
When did you know it was right? When did you kind of decide? Was there a moment for you?
Took a bit of time. Because as I've said this before, I'm a bit of a fighter. But there comes a time where you just know. And I can't really explain that to you, Simeon, any more than I just knew. And I just knew that for the club and for the players and for Josh, there was just a time for Ken to go. And luckily enough, I didn't have to tell him, because I don't think I would have got through that bit. Richo, with my blessing, because I just didn't think I'd get through that. They've only just found out. So some of them, they clearly have. I mean, they're an outstanding group of young people. We're an outstanding footy club. They don't let people they care about make decisions like that without care back. That's what I love.
Does that make the decision just more difficult this time?
No, it doesn't, because I see the relationship they have with all of us. We like to name the senior coach as the only person. We've got a great footy club that's full of great people, and they will miss bits at some point, but not until we do really well in 2025. So they can then move on to what's next. And
The training feel at all different than given the announcement?
not one bit.
Why is he the right person to be the next senior coach at Port Adelaide? What have you seen about him, the way he goes about it, that makes him the right person?
I'll give you my really honest views. He's done it the right way. How old are you, Josh, now?
45 next month.
45. I took over at 46. I'd coached for 15 years. I'd coached my own team. I'd coached other teams. I'd been to other environments. I'd seen good programs. And you need to do it the right way. And for me, that's why I was really confident that Josh needed to get an opportunity, because he's done it absolutely the right way. He's coached premiership teams, he's been to other clubs. He's mad passionate at Port Adelaide for a start. That also helps. But and he knows how we work. He values what I value. He's perfect.
You have it suddenly you can't have a season where people aren't talking to you.
I'm not sure what you're going to ask me next week. What were the questions you'll ask me this year? Will we actually win a game of footy?
Did that weigh the decision on not going to that same thing the entirety of this year? You lose a couple of games and immediately it's like, what now? Does he need to go? That sort of thing?
Not too much, but I did have a thought of protecting people. And I can cope. I can cope with most of it all the time, but I think it's unfair. If you look at history, it's really unfair with that question keep getting asked, but it was always going to keep getting asked while I was here. Now it can't be, because if you ask me next time, the end of September 2025, see ya.
What about a further question though, Ken? What about if you do how hard would it be not to go on again and say, actually, I wouldn't mind doing this again?
I dream my whole life. It'll be much, much easier than you would think. Imagine getting that, with the amount of effort everyone's put in. It'd be ultimately great. I know how hard it is, though. I've done this for a long time. I'm not looking for that guarantee. I'm just looking for an opportunity and a chance. What I start out every year is give me a chance, and I'll give you my best.
Could you stick around though? Like John hasn't Sydney in another role. You're like in 2026.
Not today. No, not now. It's not something I even think about because I'm so passionate about this year and about the football. I'm not even thinking about what's 2020. What did you say? 6?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got no idea what's next after, because I've only got to worry about Friday's internal trial that we're going to have, and then the following week, and then the following. I've got such great distractions now not to worry about, and I'm not in a hurry to worry about that. I've said before, I've got great energy. Energy's not an issue. That's okay.
Did you think about doing what John did though and walk away without coaching this year?
Yeah. Yes is the answer. But the outcome is this.
What swayed you to just say,
I'm still right. I'm still right to do it. I still had the energy to do it. I still had the passion to do it. I still think there's some help I can still give the club and Josh to be 100% ready. What I do like about the clarity of this one is for us and as a footy club is the time now allows us great preparation time. It doesn't jeopardise our program. For all those who think it might jeopardise our program, we have too good a program with great people that would have any damage done to this program this year by this handover. All it will do was only reinforce our commitment.
We've seen succession plans work. We've seen succession plans not work. Why are you confident that it will work? And what lessons do you kind of take from the Hawthorns, the Collingwoods, the Essendons where it hasn't kind of worked, making sure it does work?
Again, I didn't live theirs. I don't know theirs. So all I know is ours, and I know ours will work.
Does anything change in terms of responsibilities, knowing that Josh is now going to take over next year? Is it the same?
Yeah, I should get to coach the 3 inside mids that are really good and claim the credit. No, Josh is our midfield coach this year, and he knows that. He's been such a valuable member already, and even in the last 10 days when this becomes real, he knows. And the first thing he's ever said to me is, mate, you do it your way. Can't ask for any more.
Just back to Sim's question for a second.
Yeah.
You said you know it will work. Why?
I've got inside knowledge. That's what I say about the outside world with football. I know what goes on in this place, and I know how it goes and how we run and what we value. It has to work. We've proven time and time again to everyone, to all the opinions in the world, that we're no good. We always seem to be okay, and we give ourselves a chance. I know Port Adelaide's history, and that means we'll be okay.
One of those opinions this morning has been that this is almost a concession, that this is not a premiership year. What would you say?
Who from?
Who's that from?
Ken Hinkley said that this is a concession, that you can't win the flag in 2025.
Opinions are interesting, aren't they? They are just that. They're opinions, and you're allowed to have them. But uneducated and unqualified at times, without all the information. What I like about some of those, and I'm not Kane because I get on very well with Kane, but I think there's no accountability to opinions. I'd love to have some accountability to opinions like I do and like Josh does and David does every week. Have some accountability to what you say.
Ken, the talk of succession has been around for a
Yeah.
long time.
Rightly so.
When did you know that it was likely, been mooted for so long, that this is actually going to likely fall into place?
As I said, about 10 days ago, that it really became real. I wanted Josh to take over. I think I'm on record for saying I'd love Josh to take over. I think it might have been, 12 months. I don't even know if it's further back than that. I would have loved for Josh to take over, and, I want to barrack for Port Adelaide. And I've got a great reason to continue on supporting Port Adelaide because Josh is now taking over.
Did you feel any pressure from the club to make this decision?
Nah, unfair question. This club's been so good to me.
And you talked about the players before. They so often refer to you as a father figure. Just how important are they to you?
They'll be able to call me a grandfather figure now, which I am. I'm a grandfather too, so I'm glad to move on to be grandfather figure. I won't lose contact. I never do. With all the players I've been through in my journey, if I go right back to coaching my local club to a premiership, I still have great conversations. I had one person ring me this morning that I coached in that game. He didn't even know this had happened, but he rang me. So I'll always be there.
You've obviously got a couple of chapters left this season to write the book of Ken Hinkley's career at Port Adelaide. What do you want that lasting memory to be, the legacy of your time here?
We all know what I want. What I get, I'm not sure. But we all know what I want, and what we all want, not just me, as a whole footy club, we all want the same thing. That'd be a great story, a great story for us all, but it doesn't always happen that way.
How taxing the last 13 years been? And you've spoken a little bit. How much does it take out of you?
Much older to look at. Not that much, to be fair. It wears you down at different times. The footy season's really tough. I mean, really tough. There's no doubt about that. This job, people just don't appreciate what we do for the game and how much we're important to the game as a senior coach. You know, I think that was pointed out, again this week by Chris Fagan. I think there's, it's undervalued what we do. We're not the only person. We take the spotlight a lot.
You said before you're not thinking about 2026 right now.
Correct.
When do you suspect that you will have time to mull over what you will actually do next?
I hope it's not at Hamilton Island with Donna in October, because that's where we tend to go. Because I'll probably get a clip. So I hope it's not that soon. But I'm a bit of a worker. Not in a hurry. Let me be assured of that. I'm not in a hurry to make any decisions, and it certainly won't be before I'm finished my task. And my task is to coach Port Adelaide.
Last couple for Ken and then we move down.
Do you still feel like your future is in football though? Do you see?
Can't not be, probably. Can't not be, whether it's a supporter, whether it's a coach, whether it's something else, I don't know. But I think it's in football, and I just said Donna she'd like me to be at Hamilton Island, but she won't want me to be home every day.
As Ken, maybe looking right back, how proud are you of what you've achieved over the last 13 years, given what position the club was in when you first arrived here? It was pretty broken. To get it to where we are now, that must be a pretty good feeling.
I'm glad you summarised it like that, Alex, because I think it's a great feeling that we're a pretty good footy club. In fact, we're a very good footy club. I've said to David for a couple of years, haven't I? Yep. We can't claim a great footy club or a culture footy club, which we are, until we win a flag. Because unfortunately in our game, that is the ultimate tick of success. We're a bloody good footy club, and we weren't a bloody good footy club. We were far from it.
When you realised that this was going to happen, was it hard to accept in any way? Like, was there any moment where you went? You said you're a fighter.
Yeah.
Was there at one point where you're like, was it actually hard to accept?
Well, it took time to make the decision. I think that's where it's hard to accept, because you don't want to say it. Even today, first time I said it out loud to public people is I'm finishing up. Doesn't feel great. Doesn't feel great, but it feels right. As I said 13 years ago, I was the right man standing. Now I'm the right man leaving.
All right, shall we move to...
I was just going to ask one on, that's such an interesting relationship with the fans, particularly in the last few years.
They've been great.
How do you think you'll reflect on your relationship with them and theirs with you?
99% of them gave me great support, and I'll just be forever grateful. You know, never tear us apart at Adelaide Oval. I was there when it started. It's pretty special, and more than ever, I reckon, more than ever in the last couple of years, might be surprising, more than ever, the amount of people who have said, we love what you do. It's pretty good feeling. All right, I'll let Josh talk.
All right, let's move down to Josh. Thanks.
That's a dodgy one they chose. Typical.
What's your reaction sitting here today to be a senior coach?
Yeah, I guess coming from where I've come from, being drafted here and as an 18-year-old, then being given opportunities as a coach also, it's an honour and a privilege to be chosen as one of the core leaders at this football club.
Just on that, I'm sure getting a senior coaching gig anywhere would be special, but Port Adelaide drafted you, you win a flag here, bring you back a couple of times, both in coaching and in playing, to actually do it here. What does that mean to Josh Carr?
Yeah, like I guess as I touched on, like the privilege that I feel of being in charge of a football club. That's had such a significant impact on me personally, but also my family over time. Every time I left after the flag, and quite easily you can be seen as a bit of a villain, in doing that. But then be given an opportunity to come back at the end of my career as a player, and then as a coach. Every time I walk back into this football club, it feels real, and it feels like me, to be honest. So I don't take that lightly as far as this opportunity as being a coach and being the senior coach of this footy club. I feel like I owe the club a lot. That doesn't guarantee that, I bring automatic success, but I feel like my journey as a coach and the impact that this club has had on that journey, I've been able to go away and learn and get better as a coach, but come back, and the investment that's been put on into me as from the club, with the resources, with coach development, and all those things has been significant. So I'm honoured.
You touched on earlier about how long this succession plan has been moved to. When did you know that you were going to be the next coach of Port Adelaide, no matter when Ken decided to step?
Yeah, well, it didn't get solidified until the last couple of weeks. So, I've been in conversations with a number of people around this football club, but those conversations have been around my improvement and me developing as a coach and making sure that I'm ready. And I've felt ready for a long time, but at the same time, you're always learning, and I'll never stop learning as a coach. So being patient and making sure that I'm a sponge to the people around me, in Ken and the other coaches that I've been under to over at Freo with Justin, and learning from him. Every moment that I've been coaching is about having my eyes on the future and being a senior coach, but at the same time making sure that I'm the best assistant coach I can be.
What makes you feel like you are ready now? I mean, obviously you're not taking over for another 12 or 10 months, but what makes you feel like you are ready now?
I think time in the game is one part of it, but also, when I left in 2015 and when coached North Adelaide, that was about, for me personally, that was about my development as a coach and learning a lot about myself, being in charge of your own team, and managing a group of players, to boards, to whatever it is. That was the first part of it, and then when I went back in the system in the AFL, I was really conscious of not coming back here. To start off with, I felt that I needed to go to another football club to learn and learn more about the way other football clubs work. And again, that was, I made sure that it was somewhere else. And then, obviously coming back here, I felt like, I ticked those boxes, being ready, and then, understanding on where we're at as a football club, that there might be an opportunity here. Now, there was no guarantees in that, but I guess for my family, and for me and for this football club, me being here was where I thought I should be.
You said no guarantees, but were there any indications, let's say assurances or even promises in 2023 that you would be the next senior coach when you pulled out of the Richmond race?
No promises. I guess I had to back myself in to know that when the opportunity did come, that I was one of the guys that they were looking at closely. Obviously in conversation with Chris and just making sure that I was developing myself.
I think you said all along that there would be a process.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that the club did go to market?
I don't know if it's a surprise. I felt like the work that I put in, and I'm sure, behind the scenes, I know there was work being put into exploring other options and what's out there. So, I'd like to think, and I trust the people that are above me in those leadership roles at the club, that they've done their homework, and I'd like to think that they've made the right choice.
Simi touched on the Richmond job. Obviously, every time the senior coaching job has come available in the last couple of years, your name has been mentioned. How hard was it to sort of turn away from that when there was no guarantee at the end that you would be next?
Yeah, well, there's no guarantee I was going to get the job at Richmond either. That's the nature of the beast. Your name gets thrown up there as if you were one of the great coaches, and that you're next in line, you're going to get the job. But I hadn't sat in the interview. I probably sat in the interview and they might have turned me away. So who knows?
How about Matt asked, how do you know you're ready?
Yeah.
Having an endorsement from someone like Ken, how much confidence and belief does that give you?
Yeah, I think over time, the more people that you coach with, that you spend time with, in the conversations that you have with those people, and obviously in the last 2 to 3 years with Ken, about what that looks like as a senior coach. Over time, I guess I've built my confidence with experience, and that's been backed in by the people around me.
What kind of senior coach do you want to be, or what kind of senior coach do you think you'll be?
Yeah, look, I think it's a hard question to answer in some ways. Look, right now, my job is to be the best assistant coach and support Ken. What that looks like in the future with the X's and O's and all that sort of stuff, we can have those conversations down the track. But I think first and foremost, I reckon, just honesty and humility is what I pride myself on around my people.
Do you go to guys like Sam Mitchell or Nathan Buckley or Simon Goodwin or something, and just kind of say, how did you handle this kind of transition year in a way? Do you kind of speak to people who've been in this situation?
I haven't. I'm sure if I ran into those guys, that could be a conversation, but I don't know, from our playing days, they might not want to speak to me.
So successful succession plans 15 years ago in Sydney and then also Simon Goodwin at Melbourne. Both those were more than year transitions. Is it a bit of an advantage to, even though yes, your mind is focused on this year in the midfield coaching role, that you can in your mind be thinking towards 2026 and the future and just putting things even mentally in place to get ready for when you take over?
Yeah. I've been putting those things in place for a long time, and this gives me more time to do that. But I do go back to what my job is right now, and it's a pretty important job, looking after the midfield. And Ken and myself have been in, we're constantly talking about how we can improve, the midfield and the team, and we come from a really honest place as well. So we're certain on what our roles, and in particular what my role is at this club right now.
You mentioned that, having the endorsement from Ken and what that means, but is there a certain thing you've learned most from Ken, whether it's his emotions and how connected he is to this group? Is there something you've taken from him that you'd like to bring into the way you coach a group and look after a club?
Yeah, look, the number one aspect of Ken, he's always got passion for the game. And with that passion, he's fantastic with his relationships with his players. I don't think there's ever a player that doesn't understand where they're at our football club. I reckon they always know where they fit. So that's probably the most significant thing that I take away from being with Ken.
How will your role change, Josh, from a future planning perspective when it comes to recruits, contracts?
Yeah, look, I'll be involved in those discussions from recruiting to list management. So, along with Ken and Cripper and CD and these guys, I'll be in those discussions.
Were you involved in those discussions previously?
I've sat in on them, and that's about my development as a coach. I guess I'll have a bit more of a say.
What does it feel like, Josh, to be sitting here right now, given the fact that you came here as a player, spent all that time in? Did you ever imagine that this, during those years, during the premiership, that you'd be here 20 odd years later, senior coach?
Imagine or dream, I guess. Like there's been certain parts of my life, where I'm a coach, where I've started my coaching, and I've definitely dreamt of coaching this football club. The dreams, I guess, come real now, and as I said, it's a significant role and a significant responsibility that I've got.
How much have you ironed out those delegations? Are you going to have a player come to you and say, no, that's a Ken question up till next year, or will you work that out as you go on the play?
I'm not sure you actually understand what goes on inside the footy club. That's with respect.
Yeah.
No, but I just mean, how much have you sort of discussed what the roles will look like this year in terms of compared to last year?
Well, it's the same. I'm the midfield coach, so the same questions that come my way, and players will sort out whatever coach is going to give them the right answer to start off with, and then I'll send them to Ken and say, you go deal with that. So the hard questions I'll send to Ken, the easy ones I'll deal with.
Josh can still be the good guy.
Last couple for Josh.
Ken touched on before about his relationship with the players. Obviously, we've seen how close he gets to players, that type of thing. Is that something that you hope to inherit and have tried to inherit? You're obviously a senior coach, and have you seen that so far from yourself?
Yeah, look, you learn about relationship building and you see it, from afar, watching him the way that he goes about it. I'll have my own way on how I do that and how I coach, but they're lessons, they're things that you sit back and watch, and you try and add different parts, of whatever you learn from different coaches.
Okay, just the conversation between you and Ken when it was official that he was going to step down, and Ken said before he didn't expect it. players about it? Was there a conversation between you two, the official? Yeah, it's on.
Probably in the kitchen.
In the kitchen. Yeah, over
I was getting a cup of tea. You're a cup of tea drinker too, I think.
coffee or tea.
Coffee or tea. That's how it happened.
Yeah.
But again, Josh has known for a good period of time that I would love him to take over, and I feel really comfortable about that. And that's how those conversations work. It couldn't work any other way. If for some reason we weren't that tight, because we're also talking now. Remember, all these cameras are going to be pointing how many times me and Josh are either bluing or having a smile with each other. Oh, there's something going wrong, but there's not.
What was your reaction when he told you?
Ken?
Yeah.
No, well, look, we found out, when I found out, I was obviously super happy, honoured, privileged, and then sitting down with Ken, and it was a bit of just asking how we both were about it. And we've had those conversations along the way, and it was like, how are you? And he's like, yeah, I'm good, and yeah, we're in a good spot. We come from a place of respect. That does not mean that he's not going to challenge me this year, and I'm not going to challenge him in game and all those sort of things that you do as a coach.
All right, mate, one last one.
Last one?
Ken, Ken was talking about 13 years as kind of a stretch. You're the face of the football club when you become the senior coach. You're sitting here at the moment, you don't have a grey hair to be seen.
There's fear there.
How are you feeling about what you might be looking like if you're going to be sitting here in another 13 years?
You're ashamed.
I'd be, if I'm sitting here in another 13 years, I'll be pretty happy with that. So, right now, it's obviously focusing on what's in front of me in the next year, and then we'll worry about those moments later.
Collins after the Josh Carr haircut now, is that all coordinated?
Yeah, midfield thing.
That's when I knew. I've got no hair to cut. Good on you. All right.